Hello everybody, welcome back to Literature Paper 1 revision, and this video will focus on how to structure your paragraphs. Every paragraph should be a PEARL paragraph. PEARL is an acronym used to support students who find it difficult to organise their writing. Obviously, if you find it easy to write your paragraphs in another way, please do so, but if you are struggling to write a paragraph, this is an easy method. P stands for point, using the question as an answer in your point sentence at the beginning of each paragraph. E stands for quotes and evidence. If you've got no quotes, you've got no hope. So make sure you've got some quotes from the extract for Macbeth for Literature Paper 1, Section A. And then you also need to remind yourself that A stands for analysis, analysis of language and structure, and analysis of the effect on the reader. That leads us on swiftly to reader, which is R. Okay, so what does the word reader mean to us? Well, for Macbeth, it should be audience because it's a play and it doesn't have readers, it has an audience. And therefore, you need to consider to yourself, how does the Jacobean audience react to what they watch as a result of the extract in front of you and the play as a whole? And for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, it's the reader because it's a novella, and you need to consider how the Victorian reader would react to the events presented in the extract and in the novella as a whole. So let's move on back to analysis. Analysis is quite long-winded because there's so many things you can do. To do analysis, you could zoom into a keyword from your chosen quote and look at the connotations of the word. Now, if you don't know what connotations means, I've made a video on this, but anyway, I'll just tell you quickly that connotations is the associations we have in mind when a word is mentioned. So, for example, if I say the word tree, a connotation of the word tree is nature, and so on. You can go further with your analysis by naming the word class of your chosen word. So, for example, the word tree is a noun. So, the noun tree suggests to the reader. That would make your writing sound pretty good. And then you need to think about language devices such as metaphors, similes, emotive language, sensory language, and hyperbole. Hyperbole is just another way of saying extreme exaggeration. As for sensory language, it's language to do with describing what you can hear, smell, feel, and touch. And structural devices, this is where you get real marks for higher bands. Structure is the way in which things are organized, and in a play we have things such as stage directions. They're there for a reason. Think about who's exited, think about who's entered the scene, think about the order of events and why it's so important. Think about the characters involved in an event and why some characters are missing from an event. Notice any changes of tone and pace, and think about the narrator, the narrative in the extract, who's talking, from whose perspective, and why. So that is all analysis, okay? Do you see? Point, evidence, analysis, reader, link. So if you go to reader, what's the effect on the Jacobean audience for Macbeth? What's the effect on the 21st century audience? What does your chosen quote event make the audience question, predict, feel, and believe? So some students are like, Miss, I don't know what to write for effect on the reader or audience. Here are a few good questions. Ask yourself, what does it make the reader question? Which questions are running through the reader's mind? What does it make the reader or audience predict? What do we expect to happen next? And what does it make the reader feel or believe? Okay, link. Linking back to the question is so important. Some students unfortunately go off on a complete tangent and they do not answer the question. An easy way to link back to the question is to repeat the essay question's keyword. So for example, in our videos on Literature Paper 1, it's all about Banquo and Macbeth's relationship. So I would expect you to repeat Banquo and Macbeth's relationship quite a number of times throughout your paragraphs. And another thing that you need to remember for linking back, you need to link back to the rest of the play for Macbeth and link back to the rest of the novella for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You need to compare the quotes from your extract with quotes from earlier events and later events in the text as a whole, and that would give you a higher mark. So, out of all the things we've just mentioned today, I need you to recognize the importance of analysis. If you don't have any analysis in your paragraphs, and obviously you will not be getting a good grade. But if you do have good amount of analysis and a good explanation of the effect on the reader or audience, you are setting yourself a fantastic way of getting higher grades. So moving on now to what was it called? PEARL. Okay, point, evidence, analysis, reader, link. But some of us Pearl is just too long-winded. And to help you, I think you should bear in mind something which is even easier: point, quote, bigger picture. So point, using the question as an answer; quote, short quote to prove a point; bigger picture is all of these things: analysis, reader, and link. Okay. So I hope that helps. That's how you should structure your paragraphs for English Literature Paper 1, Section A and Section B. And I will be creating a short video annotating an extract later on today. Thank you and good luck.